Hydrate the pen ink. We've got two things we're gonna try. One, we're gonna throw some ink in our dehydrated powdery dry substance here. However, down at the bottom,
this part's starting to dull. It's actually
ink online, but it's not this kind of ink. We've got 5 just turned completely black immediately, and then you couldn't really see what was happening inside anymore.
now that you've warmed it back up.
Yeah, it was, and the freeze dryer does get very cold. It might be enough to stop it from moving at all. It is sticky.
If you were to mix clay and slime, but it's
However, is about a cup of ink.
Try putting dry
Point pens.
this cool gold sheen happening. Okay, so if anyone warming up
Saying that instead of taking the ink out of the
into the pen ink, we've done everything but that. So
here goes.
Yeah.
Dry ice.
All right, I'm gonna try and pull it off of that. Oh my goodness. Really clear glass. Wow.
That did not stick. It's sticking to the pliers.
Yeah, the pliers.
I'm gonna have to start popping bubbles because I don't want them to expand. Salt, which hopefully will make it even better, is an alloy of iron.
And you all had did
Pro in a freeze dryer. It may not survive.
pull it off.
Nope. Feel no pull.
I just wonder if we can even
Yeah.
turn it on again.
That'll be a fun experiment. We'll see if this lives. Doing a few more experiments.
Well, that's cool. You can see.
So little that it barely counts.
Does look like it's sticking a little bit more.
But that's not gonna get that within.
This is like partly frozen, so it's like gummy.
Yeah, see like that.
Sucked my glove.
Liquid, guys, we're just freezing it. Well, that's an ink bubble.
I'm pretty sure this magnet has a 100-pound pull strength, which means if it's that at least one of them is finished.
It's gummier.
Does
Is real metal in nickel and cobalt and some of their alloys. Steel, for example.
ink.
I'm just gonna dip it and see what
So
happens.
you never miss out on a video. Don't forget to ring that bell and we'll see.
So let's see if we get any result. I'm going to start by putting it on the side of the glass so it doesn't just stick to our...
Which apparently did survive it.
It really just looks like he's blowing blood bubbles. That's
Wow.
so. Obviously, this part is all very, very dry. This is.
I mean,
Purple.
Is that?
oh, you were very worried.
Are you sure it's not a reflection?
It would have been easier. Here's the basic idea. We've got 5 suggestions of things to try with ball. It is.
Look at that. You're actually
It's
you've
frozen all the way
frozen the
through.
ink. All right.
This how we're just with it.
I'm just painting my name here. Okay. Candy almost. Except it is. Oh, that's weird.
So odd.
Because it's still
Show you what YouTube thinks you should be watching next. And if you hit this bomb here in the middle, you'll be subscribed to the channel. This is corn syrup, and this is not the water, not too hot. We don't want to risk breaking the cup or anything.
that we.
Go through our comments. Eyeball point pen. Good. Well, I think we should progress to pen ink is magnetic. Callie has a very powerful. See what happens with our pen ink.
I still think
But now this is warmed back.
still got this pulled taffy consistency. Yeah, you can already see that there's like.
Side benefit, we're testing out what happens if you put a goat.
We don't know how this is gonna go. We don't know how far this is gonna expand. So we're just gonna do.
Normally have in a bottle of ink. So while we wouldn't really know anything about that ink because it's just too different.
No.
Metal that it's attracted to, it takes 100 pounds.
Look at that.
It's just a chunk.
Okay, I'm gonna destroy my gloves, but
Some liquids bubble up a lot. Will ink do the same thing? We're not. Oh, that's quite a bit more.
yeah, okay.
Still not as bright as the wires touching, however.
That's amazing.
The glass is warmed back up. It's not frozen there. This is the same power. In the next one. Talk to you.
My idea was the best.
Your idea was to paint your nail. Maybe a little less, but we've got quite a bit. This is just a pool.
No magnetism here.
All right, so for our next comment, we've got one from Mom. Oh,
At this point, the battery is almost certainly dead at this point.
Yeah. So you can see that the wires are about 2 inches apart in the ink.
another comment and request. I apologize if I butcher this name. I believe it is Hoswang Jung, or True India ink.
Guys, that's it for today. You should go check that out. The other box is going to coming up on 2 days at this point, actually, and we think something like that. This is from our internal GoPro. Imperfections, but now we're adding.
That's fun. Clay is a really good description, but
Except it's melting in consistency that you.
freaking cool.
Well, now we can see, we can look at it after.
On our LED. It's much worse than salt water, and it's actually worse than... Ooh, there actually is a tiny, tiny little non-salt water. So Mama's...
It's a very cold GoPro.
That, like my tongue.
Lights up a day, but you know, the fun doesn't end. We've always got more for you to see. That box up at the top will take you to our last video. Our next comment request
It's a little...
time is this is our freeze dryer. And we're gonna see what happens if we freeze dry ink together. It's funny, because like it doesn't look like there's any air bubbles in the ink. With the ink removed from ball.
And I know the burning question.
Very powerful magnet. Let's see if it wants to do anything at all to our ink.
It's not sticking to my nails.
And the freeze dried.
Yeah,
ink
this
mix.
is the rest of our ink and everything was freeze dried. So you can still, you can see when I touch the two metal pieces together, it's a very bright little light that we've got.
Comes from Icy Paw, who says, try putting dry ice into pen thing.
This would not work in a fountain pen.
This stuff is as thick, low pressure that it just creates all of those bubbles, like obviously a ton of bubbles.
That was an
ink. I don't know the full chemical composition of the ink.
But not stick texture is not something that I was expecting, but my goodness, it's fun. Mix it with soap and then blow ink bubbles. Anything? Can you feel it? Interesting.
I see no ripples in the ink without the glass, in case the glass is what's caused.
So ink and soap together, not really making bubbles.
Asking if we could dehydrate the ink. It has very thoroughly become inundated with the ink. That's now the rest of our ink then. Ink has been run through the freeze dryer for responses. So today,
But his ink, soap, and water is
gonna happen here. We've seen bottom where it's actually in contact, I think is started to freeze. A lot, and the clear sides of the cup that it was in.
It's usually known for having this sort of metallic quality. First off,
Did our GoPro survive?
sorry baby, go ink and dish soap. We are going to try and blow ink bubbles, but this may be not magnetic.
It does look metallic, and maybe they're actually...
I guess it's a really cool metallic black coppery color.
It's beautiful.
And that's giving us an extremely low, but not nothing glow.
About it. It's still ink.
Our first comment comes from Charlene McClintock, who asks us to do a test to see if... Flip it over. No, it's stuck to my hand. Oh no. This is weird.
People like it is the quality of the, honestly, the blackness. Nails.
The nails, no effect. That is a very, very thin, pulling it straight away from it. Obviously, the weight a tiny bit.
Not as much, not as much. So there's some,
Like it's just sitting there for a while, but
yeah.
apparently there's enough that degasses in.
It's pretty though. Did my nails survive this experiment? Yes, they did.
Our point pen ink, we're gonna go through them one by one and see what the results are. Let's
See all of the places where the ink hasn't dried yet of my handprint.
not sure. We've seen
Happens. Probably like less than a drop of ink, guys. This stuff has great coating power. With that weird mixture that Nate's got, it's insane. Oh, and you can see what it's done to our perfect.
how rigid it gets when it gets cold.
This might be the prettiest stained glass thing
Of pen ink, and since we did that, we asked what we could do with it, and we had some
Magnet if it's magnetic. We do have conductivity through the ink, but really cool if it were, because that would have been like a really cheap source of ferrofluid.
pure water, distilled water, probably would.
Okay, this is my new favorite thing.
But here's hoping that works out for you.
Do a small amount in a very large jar and hope it fails.
have learned what's inside.
Aha! I win.
You get it out?
I did ink that's making it metallic. It's apparent. Yes.
That's kind of what I was hoping it would have. Frozen in there, and just one at a time do. So I got some pretty good shots blowing bubbles into the ink last time. I have comment requests, and we're gonna try them out and see a layer of the ink.
That is true. This is how bright it is without anything. And then in the water.
In today's video, we're mixing even more dry ice in.
That was the comment, is electricity work in the pen ink? So see like the viscosity here, but
Have probably 800 pens worth of that ink stripped through the vacuum chamber. Whoop! And there goes the ink.
And carbon and sometimes some other things, that usually is attracted to magnets. Thank you for your suggestion. It would have been
Remove it without that much force is to use leverage, twist at an angle, pull it off. So, 24 and see if we think it's doing well.
quite the way we planned, but it was still cool.
Our last request is from
Now, if I do the same thing to what we put in the dehydrator.
as the dry ice tries to expand.
So while names are getting stuck to it, but look at that, it's actually, oh, it's free pen ink.
She's thrilled. I'm not going to paint my nails with pen ink. Love immediately.
Yeah.
See if I can
Maybe a little too viscous.
magnet in her hands. Let's show the power of that magnet off a little bit for a second. Some ink, it bubble up.
Thing ever.
Wow.
Plays with that, we've got
With that. It's not the same.
of the color. It's very, very dark and there's no shine to it. Ballpoint pen ink
It explodes.
contains it.
You may remember when we first vacuumed.
Boy 99.
Oh no. Up.
All right, so we've exhausted just about everything that we can do with the freeze-dried ink. Thing in the way. All right, so first, as a comparison control test, just regular. It's so cold now from the dry ice.
A while back, we took 1,000. Seems fairly liquid. This is our comment request. And the dehydrator for about a day and a half now.
With what? Causing the lack of magnetism?
Well, whatever is in this Boy 99, how would
1,000 pens, we should have just bought the ink online. And you can buy ink. In our first video where we took the ink out of 1,000 pens, there
So
on a flat piece of Neutron, little dehydrator machine we've used before. And the other is the reason that this
there. Put something in the way. Okay, around the edges, it's still a little squishy.
got some fairly warm, for dozens and possibly hundreds of comments to buy a bottle of ink. It's just completely different. There's a decent chance the same thing is. Let's try the ink.
And into the ink.
We saw with the dry ice how it gets really thick when it freezes. Pen ink that you buy online is much, much thinner. It's designed for like a quill pen. Give us no result, but this is tap water and it's got minerals in it.
Very cold to hold. You can see as it's frosting up. Still getting ink marks. So we've added a little bit of water to this one. Let's see what we can do. Ever. It's kind of going gummy. It has this give of like a gummy. Can be very cold. All metals are magnetic.
The three elemental metals that are attracted to magnets are iron.
Using ink in streams. Here, try and let's see if we can like capture.
Pliers out of the
Here,
cup.
wait, hang on. This was an awesome idea. It didn't go.
But now, as it seals up over the dry ice, it just makes its own bubbles.
Rapidly and quickly just destroying my gloves. Yeah, this will last. Another thing to mention is that when it comes to India ink, the reason nobody ever wants to make their own homemade galaxies.
This has been on the counter the whole time.
Now we want to see what happened to our dehydrated ink.
Or a fountain pen that you dip into the ink, or you refill a well and then you try and draw 1,000 ballpoint pens and removed all of the ink from them and collected it. And we still have
Clear water. So here's how.
Oliver's 758 who asks if we can
Very light glow.
Now,
This is just ink and soap.
I react cause I don't have no talent. I react, it's easy, takes no effort. I react and barely show emotion. I react, when I do I found a motive. I react cause I don't have no talent. I react, it's easy, takes no effort. I react and barely show emotion. I react, when I do I found a motive. Easy getting fame these days since you do not need any talent. People try to take me down, but too bad there ain't no repelling. Divide myself, count by 10, it'll get the IQ of all my viewers. Of all my viewers who are too retarded to watch real YouTubers. My vids contain of adding a little fucking cam screen, which 10-year-olds enjoy cause they don't have their own opinion. They're stupid and my minions got me over 1 million. This is the age of YouTube, no talent equals millions. Getting paid, get paid for nothing. If you're watching this right now, just turn on your cam. All you need is a fake smile to get them views and get all this money. Thank God that the world's retarded. I react cause I don't have no talent. I react, it's easy, takes no effort. I react and barely show emotion. I react, when I do I found a motive. I react cause I don't have no talent. I react, it's easy, takes no effort. I react and barely show emotion. I react, when I do I found a motive. It's so amazing you can grow up people's content. Lazy life, I got it like this my fucking job, bitch. Resume on fleek, cunt, your salary in 1 week, cunt. And it's not only me, cunt, no, there's 100 more cunts. Yeah, all I do is lay back, react to trending topics. Still I'm the trending topic, then react to my own vids and get 1 million more hits. Thank the Lord I got rich by all these stupid kids. I react cause I don't have no talent. I react, it's easy, takes no effort. I react and barely show emotion. I react, when I do I found a motive. I react cause I don't have no talent. I react, it's easy, takes no effort. I react and barely show emotion. I react